This project is all about creating that effortless, seamless, blended look with the blending brushes. And we're also going to use the dome tip applicator. So we're going to combine them with this one. Going to get a very, very light application here and then just really quickly building up the intensity and color. I'm not really being perfect in putting it down, I'll be quite honest. I was going really fast. And part of it is on the edges, I really didn't care because I knew I was going to cover them up. Going for that orange peel now, and it was really interesting to see this kind of, yellowish, greenish lemongrass mix with that orange peel, it kind of create different colors now coming in with some sangria, and this created such an impact. I love this color. It created like a dirty orange color when mixing with the yellow, and that is partly because it is a red violet and purple and yellow don't really mix, but it didn't really go to brown, which was interesting. I did bring in some Daydream, which is another spa color, and that Queen for a Day was just a little too dark, but it was on the edge, so it really didn't matter. Just brightening things up. You always want to come back in with your lighter colors before pulling out the blackjack. I thought initially I was going to do this with Juniper Mist, but here are those dome tools, and I wanted to switch to these because I wanted a little bit more of a precise application around the edge. I didn't want to risk kind of blending or over blending into those colors. I wanted to really be focused. So creating just my perimeter and then just kind of dragging that in where some of those seams are. And that really helped to kind of give it that galaxy feel, nebula feel. And this card just is stunning. It's a 1-layer card at this point. And look at that. I mean, is that not gorgeous? These colors make such an impact. And this is the Spa collection. This is the more muted line. I'm pointing to that Daydream and just kind of how all those colors blended. The Daydream and the lemongrass created the most beautiful emerald green. I really highly recommend you guys playing around with some of the color combinations. Squirting out a little bit of some acrylic paint, and that's zinc white acrylic paint. Adding a little tiny bit of water, not too much. We're going to add some stars to our galaxy. I have a flat brush here, and I'm going to use my finger. I always suggest doing this first before your project, no matter how many times you've done this before. It's just always good to get a feel for whatever your pressure is that day. And just kind of dragging my finger across my brush, dropping down some of those stars. And you can see here, and we're going to speed this up super quick here before, because we're going to add a lot of stars. If you mess up and something goes a little bit more in a line, don't worry about it. It could be shooting stars. You get something, a glob down, lift it up with some tissue paper, and you could blot it out with a Q-tip. There's so many ways to kind of fix that. I don't ever stress about that because I end up putting down dyes or a sentiment or something like that. But look at that. It's a great way to add stars to your galaxy. Now, I felt like the blackjack, as perfect as it was, I needed it to come just a tad deeper on the corners. So I'm coming back in here with some Midnight and that dome tool again, because I can be very, very precise in where I'm dropping that. I didn't want to really come back over all the stars. You don't really want to undo your work, but having those corners, just that slight level of darkness, a little darker than the rest of the card. Again, it draws you in. We've talked about this in scenic stamping, or also, when we've done some finishing touches on cards. Those corners, they really draw the viewer in there. So now I have a great tip for you. When adding a full sheet onto a card base, sometimes you get those little white edges. I always sponge the edges with the darkest black that I can before adding my panel with some liquid glue, really tapping it onto my surface. I have the Glass Medium Matte by Tim Holtz and Tonic Studios, and look at that. It's perfect. You cannot see any of that white edge. So crucial with a Galaxy card. Now, because it is a 1-layer card, I really wanted my sentiment to make an impact. So I have this lemongrass die. This is the Awesome die, and we're just going to give it a little bit of a coat. I had coated it with the scrapbook.com embossing pad. Now adding some of Wow clear embossing powder and just getting that on there. Is this not the coolest card? Well, if you want more and you want to find out exactly what I'm doing here with mixing up this colorful paste, click that video on the left and I'll show you even more great cards with this collection. I'll catch you over there.